You asked, so I'm answering. Hey everyone, it's Jordan Faith. Here on my channel, I share all sorts of different wavy hair care tips and routines. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe. And make sure you click on the bell too. A little while ago, I put up a question box on my Instagram story and a Q&A post on my YouTube community tab. And I got some pretty good questions from all of you. So let's go ahead and get into them.
How is curl cream different from leave-in conditioner?
That's a good question. Of course, there will be a little bit of variance from brand to brand, but basically the main difference is that leave-in conditioner is meant to provide just another layer of conditioning. It doesn't usually have any hold or enhancement properties. A curl cream is usually conditioning like a leave-in conditioner, but it also contains some ingredients that will help lend a little bit of hold, as well as some curl enhancing ingredients.
What is your favorite product lineup at the moment?
I think it would be the Umberto Giannini Curl Jelly line. I have the shampoo, the conditioner, and the scrunching jelly, and I love every single one of them. There are a lot of product lines that I love, but this is one of the only ones that every product is the right product for me. None of them are too heavy. None of them are like a once in a while I can do it product. They are products that I usually want to use at every opportunity.
Gel recommendations for a wavy with fine hair. I'm finding most to be either too heavy or thick, but giving really good hold, or lightweight and airy, but not enough hold for the straighter sections of my hair.
I completely understand you on this. That sounds exactly like my hair. My personal favorite is the Umberto Giannini Scrunching Jelly. It is light hold, but it's enough hold for me, and I just love the feeling it gives to my hair, like a weightless feeling, and it gives a little bit of shine. Another great one that isn't my personal favorite, but I like to suggest, is the Giovanni LA Hold Gel. That is one of the lightest gels that I've ever used. It is a little bit sticky, but not too bad. It's really easy to work with, and it has really good hold. It never weighs my hair down. The only thing that keeps it from being like a top tier product for me personally is that sometimes it will give a little bit of grittiness to my hair, which definitely adds volume and helps with the lightness of the product, but it's just not my personal preference. I also really like the EcoSlay Orange Marmalade. It has excellent hold and it's not too heavy. It is just a little bit more on the pricey side and you have to keep it in the fridge. And another one that is budget friendly, is the Aussie Instant Freeze Gel. This is a little bit heavier, but it usually works just fine for me. It has really good hold and it gives really, really amazing shine for my hair.
This video is from 2021. Would you make any changes to this list of must-have products now for 2022?
Products that aren't on this list that I would add are the Keratin Volumizing Mousse and the Keratin Root Spray. Those products are wonderful. The Root Spray gives me the most volume I've ever had. The mousse, which is actually a foam because it's in a pump bottle, is really lightweight, really easy to use. It has a really nice soft orangey scent that I love, and it gives me nice definition, good volume without ever weighing me down. And it's one of those products again that I always want to reach for. And I guess I would also have to add the Umberto Giannini Curl Jelly Shampoo and Conditioner. I think at this point I had only used them once or twice, so I didn't want to put them on the list without really trying them out. And now that I am almost out of my first bottles, I would definitely put them on a favorites list. I love them. I still love the Tresemme Botanique Nourish and Replenish Conditioner, but a lot of people have been telling me they can't find it anymore, and I haven't had to buy it in a little while because I had 2 big bottles, but I'm almost out now, and so now I'm a little nervous I'm not going to be able to restock. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, if you know if it's still available, if it's discontinued. I haven't looked into it, I keep forgetting. Love the Garnier Smoothing Treat 1 Minute Mask, but I actually think I would swap that one out with the Garnier Hydrating Treat Mask, which is the aloe one, whereas my previous favorite was the avocado. I think I like the aloe more. It's a little bit thicker, a little tiny bit more hydrating, but it's still lightweight, and it's just so creamy and easy to detangle with, and I like the way it smells. So that might be my new favorite. I still really like the Camille Rose Honey Hydrate Leave-In, but this is for afro textured hair and it's very, very moisturizing. So I think the only reason that it really works for me is because I have it in rotation with all of my other lightweight products. I think if that were my only leave-in and I used it every day, it would be too heavy. But it's a wonderful smell, it's a great product all around, and it definitely delivers some serious conditioning. Kinky Curly Curling Custard, I would probably take off the list just because I rarely use it. And since I've been learning more about my hair and diving more into the hair care community, I just have changed kind of my goals with my hair and my approach to styling. And although I think it is an amazing product, I would probably take it off my personal list just because I don't use it that often because it's made for other hair textures. The Tralex High Definition Gel sort of falls into the same category. It's not quite as heavy, but it's a little bit too heavy for me. And although I really like it and will use it occasionally, it does add shine and bounce to my hair. It's in that category of moisturizing gels, which isn't really something that I need for my loose waves. Still a great product though. The Tralex Leave-In Conditioner, Untie the Knot, is definitely still on my list. It has a very fall scent, so as fall approaches, I think I'm going to be using it more just because I like to match my scents to the season. Is that so weird? Maybe. I don't know. I love that. That's probably my favorite leave-in conditioner, and I'm excited to be using it more soon. The Aussie Instant Freeze Gel I still think is great, I still use, but I might take it off the list. Even though I think it's wonderful, it is a teensy bit heavy, and it has amazing hold, but I don't really need all that much hold anymore. And my goals, like I said, have kind of readjusted. And so if I had to choose between Umberto Giannini Curl Jelly and Aussie Instant Freeze Gel, I would choose UG every time. So I think because of that, I kind of have to take it off my list. Even though I think it's a great product, it's just not a go-to anymore. So I think it's only fair to move it a little bit to the side. I would probably take the Talia Wajid off the list just again because it's not one of the products that's specifically formulated for me, and although I can get away with using it and it's a wonderful product and does wonders for my hair, I only use it occasionally because if I used it every time, I think it just wouldn't be the perfect choice for me. So I would move that one to the side. I'm actually gonna say, although Kinky Curly Come Clean is an amazing product, I just prefer Ion Hard Water Shampoo the tiniest bit more, and I use them for the same purpose, so I think I have to shift Kinky Curly Come Clean off the list.
Are there any products you have been really wanting to try but haven't been able to purchase yet?
Yes, definitely too many. The problem is that I already have too many products. And also that I don't have enough money to buy everything that I want to be able to try, or enough time. But I think the main ones that I really want to try are the Curlsmith Protein line, the Strength line I believe it's called. And I also have been really interested in Flora and Curl products. I'm just so sure there's something else I'm forgetting. I want to try everything. I would love to try more cake products because I love the mousse. And I've heard pretty good things about the other products, but I just haven't gotten there yet.
Now that you have almost 2 years experience, is there anything you would like to have done differently in your earlier videos?
I will say that I definitely would have done things differently in my videos had I had the experience that I have now, but there's no way I could have had the experience without making the videos, so I definitely don't regret anything or necessarily wish they were different, but I am a little awkward in front of the camera. I'm still getting used to the camera and trying to show more of my personality without feeling awkward. I didn't have as good equipment as I have now. My phone wasn't as good. I didn't have a microphone in the beginning. I used to shoot on the front camera so I could see myself because that would help me feel a little bit less self-conscious. I didn't have a ring light at all. I didn't have very good lighting. I didn't have the most solid idea of how I wanted my videos to look and how I wanted my channel to be. And I didn't have as much hair knowledge as I have now. So I definitely have grown and changed. And if you've only seen a video of mine from 2 years ago, I would say you don't even really know me now because I'm definitely very different and my channel is very different. I'm a lot more bold. I share a lot more of my opinions. I have a different approach to my hair care. Lots of things are different. But I am grateful for this growth period, and like I said, if I hadn't just started, I wouldn't have been able to gain experience to get to the place that I am now. And I'm really proud of myself for sticking with it and putting out those first videos, even though they are not very good quality and I wasn't the best performer in front of the camera. Please skip through this if you don't want to hear about eating disorders or numbers on a scale, fat phobia, anything like that. I don't want this to cause you any harm.
If you had any of your kids while being plus sized, how was that experience?
This is going to be a pretty long story, but I will try to keep it as concise as I can while covering the details that I want to share. Yes, I did have both of my children while being plus sized. I was always very fearful of that, and there are a lot of valid reasons for why I was fearful. Not only was I afraid of the peer judgment that I thought might come, and just the insecurity of not liking the way that I looked, not feeling like a cute pregnant woman, but I was also very afraid of the way that I would be treated by healthcare providers, and I was worried about putting my baby's health at risk. My first pregnancy, I ate very healthy. I very rarely had any kind of sweets or desserts. In general, I usually only drink water and drink a pretty decent amount, but during my pregnancy, I drank extra water, and water is the only thing that I drank. I ate lots of fruits and extra vegetables, and really focused on whole foods and making a lot of my foods from scratch and shying away from the processed snacks. I am not at all demonizing processed snacks or anything like that. I'm just describing the way that I sort of catered my diet while I was pregnant because I wanted to make sure that I was giving my baby good nutrients and because I was worried about gaining too much weight for complication reasons, but also for fear of being chastised by the healthcare providers. I hadn't been regularly exercising prior to getting pregnant, so I didn't want to jump into anything too strenuous, but I did try to start going on walks, and I was able to work my way up to going on about a 20 to 30 minute walk pretty much every day. So when I was first seen by an OBGYN, I was told that I should not gain more than 10 pounds during my entire pregnancy. Because my starting weight was so high, it would be unhealthy for me to gain any more than 10 pounds. Near the end of my pregnancy, I don't remember the exact details anymore because this was about 4 years ago at this point. I went in for one of my regular checkups, and at this point I was coming just once a month. And in that 1 month since my last appointment, I had gained 0.6 pounds. 0.6 pounds. And the way that the office that I went to was set up, I would see a different provider every single time because they had OBGYNs and mostly midwives just on rotation. The provider that I happened to be seeing this day was not the most warm and friendly provider that I ever saw. It was fortunately one of my worst experiences. I say fortunately because I'm sure my experiences could have been much, much worse. After being weighed and going through all the pre-screening with the nurse, the provider came in and explained that the healthy weight gain range per month at this stage was 1/2 pound to 1 whole pound. And she immediately followed that by saying that I had gained too much weight. She told me to stop eating junk food, to stop drinking anything but water, to limit my sugar because I had gained too much weight and it was unhealthy and dangerous for the baby. I don't really take criticism well. That's something that I really have to put effort into working on, and I've been working on it for years, and I will be working on it for more years to come. But especially in a healthcare setting, I get a little bit nervous and just feel a little bit small. Small is kind of a silly and ironic word to use because the issue is that I'm big, but I just typically feel like I'm not important and they aren't taking what I have to say seriously, and they aren't looking at my health as a full picture because I am so overweight. So that experience was really hurtful, and I would like to think that if it happened to me again now, I would have the confidence to say why are you saying this to me? You didn't ask me about my diet, and my weight gain was well within the healthy range. But I definitely didn't have that confidence at the time, so I just kind of nodded and did my best to hold back tears. I know that probably sounds very dramatic, but it was a challenging experience for me, and I didn't cry in the office. But it was really hard for me to be corrected for something that I didn't even do wrong. And it was even worse because she didn't even take the time to ask me questions about what I was eating or what my lifestyle was like. And I usually had a little bit of correction for my weight at every single appointment, and I just didn't really know what to do other than just nod and take what they were saying and not fight back at them. It felt really invalidating because I was definitely doing my best to eat really nutritiously and drink lots of water and be as active as I could, but I was being corrected for mistakes that I wasn't even making just because I was overweight to begin with. I just know that I was definitely being treated differently just because I was overweight. And I only gained 10 pounds. I gained exactly 10 pounds in that pregnancy. I was proud of myself. I thought my providers would be proud of me because I gained the amount of weight that they told me I needed to gain and not anymore, but no one was proud of me. And it's not something to be proud of. I have since learned that, but at the time it felt like I had followed their rules and they didn't care. They treated me as if I had broken the rules, which was pretty hurtful. My second pregnancy, I started at the same weight and I ate pretty decently. I definitely indulged more. I had a lot more treats, usually desserts, because I am a desserts person. When I want a snack, I want a sweet snack. But I tried not to go overboard, and I tried to drink enough water and still go on some walks and be active. But I definitely did not eat as nutritiously or take care of myself as well with my second pregnancy. And with my second pregnancy, I gained 20 pounds. And with both pregnancies, right after having my baby, I went immediately back down to my pre-pregnancy weight. At each appointment, they did mention my weight, but I don't think I was ever really corrected and told that I was gaining too much. To summarize, I was definitely treated differently because I am overweight and obese, and I wish I had been able to stick up for myself, and I wish the providers would have listened to me and seen me and treated me for more than my weight.
Not sure if this is too vulnerable a question, but I would love to hear more about your journey to body acceptance in a world that has so much indifference and even animosity towards people in larger bodies. If you've always lived in a larger body, how you're teaching your kids to love their bodies, that sort of thing.
All right, so I will try to touch on each part of this and see what else I might feel I want to add. But it has definitely been a long road and it has not stopped whatsoever. I have not achieved perfect confidence and perfect body acceptance that I never feel insecure or never feel unhappy in my body, but I have come a huge way from where I began. It is really difficult to know that there are people out there who just hate you because you are in a larger body. It is hard that a lot of clothing stores don't have your sizes. One thing that I learned about recently was especially hard to learn about, and I really don't want to specifically name it because I don't want any of you who might be plus size and don't know about it to go looking at it like I did on a particularly insecure day where my curiosity got the best of me even though it wasn't the right choice for my mental health. But there really are a lot of people out there who really hate fat people. Even if you think there aren't people out there who exist who hate fat people, and it really is just people who want fat people to change so they will be healthier, that's not true. There are a lot of people out there who genuinely hate fat people. I have always lived in a larger body. I have been considered overweight, if not obese, since I was 3 years old. And it was definitely a challenge growing up. I went to a very small school and I was pretty much the only fat kid. And if you've been a fat kid in school, you kind of know how that goes. You do get teased, You do get picked on. You do get treated differently. No one wants to pick you for tag. I remember one time in PE in middle school, I think, having like relay teams, and when I was the last one put on a team, I remember the boy I liked on that team saying, "Oh, now we're gonna lose." So that was really a great experience. But it wasn't awful. I didn't get like beat up or, relentlessly teased. I think I had a pretty mild experience. But, I did get called a lot of different names, some very creative names. What was really interesting is in middle school as well, I used to get teased for having big boobs because I was fat. If you have big boobs and you're skinny, that's a good thing. If you have big boobs and you're fat, it's just more fat. Obviously, I don't think that. That was just the consensus when I was in school. I think the hardest thing about it that I didn't recognize at the time for sure, but I have recognized looking back, was that all the adults in my life, constantly treated me like I also needed to lose weight. It wasn't just the kids. And that was really damaging, as much as I don't really want to admit it. But it's hard when your middle school teacher is telling you that you need to lose weight if you want boys to like you. Obviously, there's a bit of misogyny in there as well. I had a specific teacher who talked to me semi-regularly about losing weight because they also struggled with their weight, which I understand, of course, and I sympathize with, but I don't think you should be discussing it with a middle schooler, especially not in the way that it was discussed with me. I don't think a middle schooler should be told to only eat one small serving of dinner, no matter how hungry they feel, just so that they can shrink their body. Also, I want to note that this was definitely a different time. It doesn't make things okay, but I know that it was a different time. Fat phobia was definitely more accepted, not called out. Misogyny was more accepted and not as often called out. That same teacher definitely struggled with those things internally and projected it onto the rest of us. And many of the adults in my life were like that. So I do wish I had a little bit more support about the way that I was feeling and looking into what actually might have been issues in my life, rather than just a lot of people telling me how to lose weight and that I needed to lose weight. I definitely do struggle with my relationship with food to this day. I am doing my best to grow and neutralize my attitude about food, and I have come a long way with that as well, but again, I'm not perfect. It's a hard change to make after a lifetime of viewing foods as good and bad and being told to eat less, even if you're hungry, not knowing how to regulate your hunger, not knowing how to eat intuitively, not knowing how to eat in moderation. But I'm trying to learn all of those things now as an adult. For about 2 years, I think, in junior and senior year of high school, I made it a big priority of mine to lose weight, and I pretty much dedicated my life to losing weight because I really wanted to finally lose weight, and I really wanted someone to finally like me. I really wanted someone to have a crush on me. I really wanted a boy to like me. Specifically, I wanted the boy that I liked to like me, and his friend told me that he had told him that if I lost weight, he would like me. What was I thinking? I don't know. That is a horrible reason to try to lose weight. That's not a boy that you want to like anymore. That's not a boy you want to be with. I don't even know if that story was true. So if you're young and watching this, please learn from my experience. Don't lose weight for anyone. If you want to be more active, if you want to eat a little bit differently, if you want to eat more vegetables, you want to drink more water, do that for yourself, for the way it makes you feel, not because of someone else or because of the way that you look. But for those 2 years, in the first 6 months, I think, I lost 70 pounds, and I definitely struggled with disordered eating specifically the most in that period of my life because I would pretty much cling to a few safe foods, and I didn't eat any sugar, I didn't eat any treats. I ate very little bread. Anytime anyone was having a party, I didn't eat the dessert. I didn't eat pizza. I didn't eat anything outside of like canned tuna with mustard, green beans, chicken breast, turkey, deli slices. Protein shakes, so many protein shakes, sometimes bananas. If it wasn't one of those few safe, healthy foods, I was not eating it. Even though I wanted to eat it. If someone brought cupcakes to school for a birthday, or we got a pizza party, or we had donuts, I wanted to eat them, but I would not touch them for 2 years. So I did lose 70 pounds during that time, but I was still considered overweight by about 30 pounds. It's the smallest I've ever been. I will probably never be that small again. I was in pretty good shape, but I was suffering mentally, and my eating habits were definitely disordered. I got so much praise during that time for losing weight, for making my body smaller, for finally being pretty. I was so proud of myself. Still, no one had a crush on me, but most of the time I felt like I looked pretty. I still thought that I was fat, but I was not in a healthy mindset. And because those eating habits were not at all sustainable, I did gain it all back and more. So yes, I have always been in a larger body. For a small period of time, I was technically a lot smaller, but still overweight and still a large body compared to everyone around me. It's also challenging and a little invalidating when you just don't fit in things in the world. You don't fit on an amusement ride. You don't fit in an airplane seat. If you're not in a larger body, you might not think about the random things that can happen throughout the day that can make you feel a little out of place and a little insecure. Like sitting down in a chair in a waiting room and the armrests squeezing you and barely fitting in the chair. On a day when you're not feeling that comfortable about your size, that can really do you in. Those emotions are valid. The world could be more accommodating for us in larger bodies. Going into stores, especially as a teenager, when everything feels like the end of the world, and not being able to find anything in your size, having to wear women's clothing that looks matronly as a 12-year-old because of your size, it's not fun. It doesn't make you feel cute and fun and stylish. That's one of the reasons I am so adamant about dressing the way that I like, the way that I think is cute, no matter what, nowadays. I wear a lot of crop tops. I wear a lot of form-fitting things because I think that's cute. If you don't like it on my body, that's your problem. I'm done with not being able to dress the way that I personally like. There are a lot of options now that carry my size, but a lot of them are really expensive, and I just don't have the budget for that. But I am able to find some cute pieces in my size that make me feel comfortable and cute and fun and young. So I'm not going to put them off limits for me because my stomach's showing or you can tell that I have lumps. I am teaching my children to love their bodies the best way that I know how, by modeling that I love my body. I love my body. I love their bodies. I love their dad's body. I love bodies. I don't speak negatively about anyone's body ever, especially not in front of my kids. I don't see a girl walking down the street and comment that her clothes are too tight. Why would I do that? I don't do that. I don't see someone on TV who is overweight and say they need to eat less. Why would I do that? I don't put clothes on myself and say, this shirt makes me look fat. I am fat. It's not the shirt. Fat's not a bad thing. I don't make fat an insult in my house. I don't degrade anyone's body. I work on speaking very positively. If I'm having a particularly insecure day, I don't talk about it in front of my kids. I might, very rare. It's very rare. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I might, after they've gone to bed and I'm just with my husband, say that I'm feeling a little insecure today. I feel uncomfortable with my bigness. But I don't say things like that in front of my kids. I rarely say them at all. I definitely don't put down anyone else's body. We are body positive in this house through and through. All right, we covered a lot of ground today. We talked everything from hair products to weight gain and weight loss and fat phobia. Thank you for sticking with me for this entire video. I really hope you enjoyed my answers. I hope I was thorough, but somewhat concise without too much chatting and dead space. If you have further questions, if any of my answers today prompted more questions from you, please ask them in the comments. I would love to answer you there and keep the conversation going. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click on that notification bell if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content. Remember to love yourselves fully and faithfully, and I'll see you next time.